All right, so I'm outside of a 2019 Honda Passport, and this is the touring model. This is a good profile view. If you're wondering what the Elite looks like that's different, I've got an Elite sitting right next to it. So you can see I have a difference in wheels. They both are gonna have the roof rails, but as far as the exterior wise, if you wanna know what wheels are on cars, and then I have an EXL actually sitting behind it over here. So you can see a little bit different wheel, and then it doesn't have the roof rail standard on the car. So I'm gonna take you around back of the car, and we'll start you from there. This is gonna be my blue exterior, obviously you can figure that out, but let's walk you through some stuff. I will point out that on the touring model it does come with the ability to throw my foot underneath the car and be able to open it, so that's what I just did. I do have dual chrome tipped exhaust in the back, and I do have parking sensors, which I'll show you more here in a second. As far as the exterior of the car, carpeted floor mats, I'm gonna throw those on the ground and get them out of the way. If I want to pop open my storage area, and then if I need to get to my spare is right here. I do have a funnel because it is a capless gas tank. So if you needed to refill your gas and you were using like a gas can, you're gonna need that. So that's how you get to your spare, and that's your extra storage. I do have a power outlet back here that I can use. To be able to fold the seats down, I could press these buttons right here on the back. You can see my seats are already down, but this will give you an idea for spacing in the back of the car. Great amount of space to work with from this car as far as storage, as far as camping, things like that. If you wanted to sleep in your car, you've got a good amount to work with. So that's the back side. It is a powered tailgate, so press that button, it'll send it down. Let's move into our second row of this vehicle. I'll point out a couple things here. You do get 20 in the city and 25 on the highway, so combined of 22. This is a 2019 Pilot Touring. I know it's kind of hard to see in the glare, but I just wanted you to be able to see a couple things there. So let's unlock this car and look at a couple things. If I can find the right key. Okay, perfect, there we go. All right, so in the back of the car, this does have gray interior. So I'm gonna assume that it's obsidian blue. Yeah, it is, with the gray interior. And then of course, my seats folded up. I do have spots for child seats if I need to use them. It is a perforated leather. The car does have heated seats, so it's gonna allow for heat to come through on the front. The back is just perforated to match. Actually, that's a lie. The back is heated also, because this is a touring model. Your heat controls are right there. Then I have AC controls, additionally two. And then below that I have two USBs and a 115 volt outlet if I need to use it. So back seat of this one is heated additionally, along with the front seats too. As far as my door sills, they're always gonna be dark colored, just like the front of the car, and that's to prevent glare when you're looking out the car. Along my floorboards are always that charcoal finish, that we don't have to worry about it being a lighter interior and staining. I've got cup holders in both my doors, and then I do have sunshades that I can throw up if I need to prevent, if I got little ones in the back and I'm trying to keep some shade on them. On top of the fact that the car does tint it in the back windows. The front windows won't be tinted because every state is a little bit different on what they allow as far as that goes. Now, pointing out a couple things here, I do have a powered seat, so I can adjust front, backwards, up. I can tilt all the way down. I've got here for my backrest, and then my lower lumbar support. Now, moving to the door, auto up down as far as my driver and passenger side, and then my back controls. I do have door locks and window locks. As far as popping the tailgate, it is powered, and then my gas cap. Down below here is my my hood. I do have memory seating, so to set it, press that once the car is cranked up, and then it'll light up one or the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank the car up. It is a push button start, which I feel like is pretty much a standard feature now in the cars, but I just wanna let you know. So foot on the brake, press the start button, it starts up. Now, over on the left side over here, car does have parking sensors on it, so I can turn them on and off. LED is letting me know that they're on. Now down below here is road departure mitigation. That's the second LED you're seeing. That's if I start to drive off the shoulder of the road, it is going to, let me shut this door real quick here. It's gonna give me an audible alert, and then it'll shake the wheel to be like, hey, wake up, pay attention, you're apparently drowsy, that kind of thing. Above that, collision mitigation braking. So it'll first alert me to let you know, hey, you're about to rear end somebody. Then secondarily, it'll actually apply the brakes if I don't do anything to help prevent the accident. And then next to that is vehicle stability assist. Works with your traction control, so in the event that you go into a skid, it'll help send power to the wheel that has better traction to help correct. Now above that, you'll see the econ button, this green button right here. Anytime I turn that on, you'll see this green button come on, or the green leaf. It improves gas mileage, but it's gonna be a give and take system. You're gonna give up some of your acceleration, and your AC unit or heat isn't gonna blow at 100%, so just be aware of that. It's not that dramatic, but it is there, so I like to let people know about it. If you're concerned about it, just try driving the car and get a feel. If you're a little bit heavier footed, maybe you turn it on when you're already up to speed. If you're a more conservative driver, you could leave it on and never know the difference. Now moving over, my mirror controls. So I've got left and right, and same with my model below it. If I throw the car in reverse, if I have it all the way over on the left, and I throw it in reverse, you're gonna see it will tilt my mirror down to help me as far as backing up. Same thing if I switch over to the right, it's going to adjust the right instead of the left. And then if I don't want it to tilt either one of them, I can switch it to right in the middle, and now both will stay near the exact same when I'm backing up. You will notice a button with mirrors on it right here. If I'm pressing that, it will fold my mirrors in. So that's great for when I'm parking. I press that button. There you go. So if you're in an older house with a tighter garage, this might be important to you instead of having to reach over and try to do them both manually. So that's what's going on from that standpoint. All right, so the left side of the steering wheel, my volume controls are going to be right here. So just press up and down as far as adjusting the volume. My home button will toggle between all these different menus that I have up here. So whether I want to see my trip info, how many miles I have on this tank of gas. Well, this is the 406 down there, current and previous trips. If I want to jump down my phone for Bluetooth and select a person to call or something of that nature. Navigation, this is kind of cool. One, it'll give me a compass if I don't have anything running. If I have the navigation running, if I have it on this screen, it'll actually tell me my next turn-by-turn direction. So kind of helpful if you don't want to have to look over or just be able to glance down for a second. Now keep moving on down. Now playing, so this will show whatever I'm listening to right now. If I want to adjust and jump between to another source, I can press up on this arrow, and it'll let me toggle through all my different options. So you can see I got a lot of audio options in this vehicle as far as USB, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, social playlists, which allows all of us to add songs to a playlist. There's a hard drive in the car I can store music to, Bluetooth, auxiliary import, FM, AM, and then I should be back to Sirius XM here in a second. So that's what's going on from there. Let's keep toggling down here. So maintenance is kind of cool. You can see your tire pressure per tire. So I can keep an eye on that. Or if I wanted to back out of that, I can see my oil life and see exactly what percentage oil life I'm at. When I get to 15%, the car will actually alert me and give me a code A1, A2, B1, B2, one of those four. You could then look in your manual and it would tell you exactly what the dealership's going to tell you. So that way when you get there, you should already know what they're going to recommend to you. So just be aware of that. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what I have going on here. Settings, if I want to turn the tachometer off or arrange the apps, I can. So it's just allowing me to do some different things. So you can see the tach popping up and on up there at the top of the screen. So that's just how that works from this menu standpoint. All right, so your Bluetooth controls are going to be right here. So to answer a phone call, to hang up a phone call, to use voice command, for a lot of different things. So to pull up and give me some different options that I can pick from and say. I'm going to back out of that. I have access to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so I can press and hold this. When I hear the beep for Siri, I ask Siri to do stuff too. Siri, text so-and-so. Siri, pull up directions to this. So same thing for Google also. So it's just dual purpose button. Moving over to the other side, the first button you're going to want to pay attention to is the main button. If the main button is on, you're going to see ACC and LKAS. ACC stands for Adaptive Cruise Control. LKAS stands for Lane Keep Assist. So that's what those two buttons are. ACC, how to use it. Once I get up to speed, I press set. From there, I would press and hold this button. It'll create space between me and the car in front of me. So the more boxes, the more space. So if I set it to 65 and the guy in front of me keeps slowing down to 60 and then back up to 65, it'll just keep that distance I designate and then go from there. So that way it'll adjust for me. I don't have to turn it on and off, that kind of thing. So that's how that function works. Now the next one is going to be Lane Keep Assist. So Lane Keep Assist is going to be this button right here. If I press this button, you're going to see these dotted lines appear up here. So what it does is it uses a camera, which is right up here, right back here, to read the lines on the road. When you're going to over 45 miles an hour, those lines will fill in solid. From that standpoint, from 45 to 90, if I start to drift a little bit out of my lane, it'll actually correct for me and keep me centered in my lane. So the purpose of it is to prevent you from drifting to another car if you got distracted by something. So that's what this function is. So both of these features can be turned on and off, but that's what they are. So that's part of the Honda Sensing Suite if you've seen any of the commercials or anything like that, along with road departure mitigation as part of them, collision mitigation, braking, and then blind spot monitoring, I believe, is too, which this car does have. You'll see it right there, and over on the other side right there. It'll light up orange if there's a car in your blind spot. From that standpoint, on, if you try to get over, it'll give you an audible alert to let you know, hey, there's a car there, be careful. Now on top, you'll see I do have paddle controls. So I've got a plus and a minus, so I can downshift and upshift the car if I want to myself. So it just gives me a little bit more control over the shifting points of the car. It is an automatic though, it'll still do it on its own. Now moving to the left side, the car does have auto on-off headlights. So you can see my hash mark right there. My daytime running lights are on. You can actually see them in the reflection of the car in front of me. So you can see that almost V shape right there. You can't see it on that side, but just so you know, it does have daytime running lights. They're LED. And then I do have fog light controls that I can turn on and off right there. Now moving over to the other side is going to be my windshield wiper controls. So if I pull down, my windshield wipers come on, and then adjusting the back windshield wiper control right there. And then they are intermittent, so I can affect the exact speed. Now moving over to the touchscreen. First thing I'm going to show you is the backup camera. So let's throw the car in reverse, which will be off this button right here. When I pull down, it'll light up green. You'll see an R come on there, and my backup camera will light up. Now, on my backup camera, I've got 3 different views. So a wide angle view, a normal view, and then one aimed straight down. This dotted line is where your hatch is going to open to. Solid line is for parallel parking. Now this button down here is cross traffic monitoring, so if somebody was coming from my left to right, it would give me arrows to which direction they're coming from, and it'll give me an audible alert. So that's designed just to help protect me from backing out in between 2 large vehicles if I can't see what's going on. So that's what's going on from there. If I want to pull over that screen, so you just saw me hit that, this pulls up and you can see my parking sensors. So if they're on, it'll alert me as to what area I'm getting close to when I start backing up to something. So this car is a little bit further away from me to set them off, but that's how this works. So we'll keep backing up. Now when I start getting in close, which I think I just ran over the floor mats, so first thing it'll do is pull up and show me right there, and then I could switch over to this view and see exactly where I'm at too. So that way if I was backing up to this guy and I wanted to make sure I left enough space. So that's just how this function works. So I'm going to switch back over and move the car back forward here a little bit. I'll pick up my flat floor mats here in a second. So while I'm on that, I'll just go down to the shifter here real quick and explain a couple things. It is buttons, and I know that's a little bit foreign for some people, but it's not hard to figure out. The LED lights up every time you're in something. The big question that I had from somebody was, what if my kid reaches over, or what if I throw my purse down? Will it hit another button, and can I throw it in reverse when I'm going down the highway? No, it's set up with safety precautions for that. I believe you might be able to throw it into neutral, which wouldn't hurt the car. If you were in neutral, all you'd have to do is press drive and switch back over. But I think that's the only one that's possible. The rest, there are safety precautions built in. There is a snow function feature, so I can adjust between snow and normal settings. You've got a little graphic up here to show you. So it'll offset the shifting points of the car to help protect you and give you a little bit better traction. It does have idle stop-start on it, so when I come up to stops, if I'm sitting here for a long time idling, it can be set to turn the engine off and just run the car on electric. Now, in doing so, if I don't want that feature on, I can press this when I get in the car and turn it off, and then while I'm on that trip, it won't do that. So be aware that you have control over that. Now, back to the touchscreen. I'm going to search on the home button right here and walk you through some stuff. First thing is, it is a touring model, so it comes with built-in navigation. So if you want to use it, it's through Garmin, and it's available right here to you. It's set up just like my Pilot, so I've got a lot of different options of ways I can search through things, and I can use voice command too, using that voice command button that's right there. So just different things you can do from that standpoint. And there's a lot of customization stuff you can do in the settings. So if you want to, change the map colors, how the map shifts, set your route preferences if you don't want toll roads to be on, or different things like that. I mean, you can even get down to things messing with like what your car is, if it's a certain icon, if it's a color. So there's a lot of different things you can do from this standpoint. So you can play around with that depending on how you want to shift. Yeah, so 3D, 2D, but I won't go over that too much. Phone, if you need to connect up your phone to the car, the first time it'll prompt you and start you from right there. Now, if you needed to add a secondary phone to the car, you would want to go to settings. To add that, go to connections. From here, we want to go to Bluetooth. And then you're at this screen, connect new device. You can connect up to 6 phones to a vehicle. So just so you know what's going on from that standpoint. Now, some other stuff under settings that you might want to pay attention to. Under vehicle right here, I'm going to select that. This is where I can get to like my door and window, walkway auto lock features and different stuff like that. So it's just some different features in here I'll point out. So right now, like under auto door lock, the car is set up when you hit 10 miles an hour, it'll automatically lock the doors, and you could change that right here. So that's just how to do it. Auto door unlock, so right now it's set up to where when I open my driver's side door, it'll then unlock the remaining doors of the car, and you can adjust that right here. So some different options you have there. So just some different features you might want to keep an eye on. As far as what's going on from that standpoint, if you want to make adjustments to some of this stuff. Keyless access setup. I like walkway auto lock feature down here. What that is if I get out of my car and get 10 feet from my car, it'll automatically lock the doors if I have that enabled, which the default is to not enable it. So I recommend turning that feature on. So that's walkway auto lock, and it's under keyless access. So I'm going to back out one screen. These were all under the vehicle settings, right? So there's other stuff you can play with, but just so you know where some basics are. Now, FM is pretty self-explanatory. You do have HD radio. When you want to get to a station that you like, you can either type it in or you can seek to it. And once you find it, you just press and hold, and that's how you do a preset. So I think you can figure this out. It's nothing to it. Bluetooth audio, if I want to wirelessly stream my music, I absolutely can. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This allows me to plug my phone into the USB down here, which is right there. Once I do, it'll pull up and give me access to music, navigation, messaging, all my contacts. So a lot of different features all available in one spot. I just like it. So if you don't want to use the built-in navigation, you can use Google Maps, Waze, Apple Maps. So, you have some different options available to you. So I won't go over that too much, but know that it's available to you. There's lots of videos on that too. Trip info, if I just want to see, current and previous trip, how many miles I'm on this tank of gas, that's what that info is right there. Text messages function, it'll read text aloud to you. You have 90 days of satellite radio. USB, I can plug in a USB, store music to it, and listen to it. I do have an aux input that I can take advantage of. It's actually right down here. So if you look in here, there's a spot for, excuse me, my hand's in the way, an aux and a USB down there. And then next to it is a power outlet. So this one has both of those functions there. So if you want to use the aux function. Social playlist is set up to where I can, 4 of us be sitting in the car and we could all add music to a single playlist to listen to. So that way, if we want to make sure we're sharing the opportunities to listen to what we think is good music, we absolutely can. System updates on the car. The car does have a Wi-Fi hotspot. We give you 3 months for free. Afterwards, it'd be up to you if you want to continue that. In doing so, I want to say it's like $8 a month through AT&T. So that's what that function is, where you can store music to the car. You just put a bunch of music on a USB, plug it in, and then store it up to the car. Clock if you want to adjust it, and then Honda Link. Honda Link is actually going to play a role, I think, in the Touring and the Elite models, in the sense that it'll give you maintenance reminders and recall notices on any of my cars, but then you have other options like being able to lock the doors and unlock the doors from the vehicle, which if you're a runner, you could put the keys in the car and be able to physically lock it and then take your phone and go run and listen to your music. So that's kind of a key thing for some people. And then the other would be being able to remote start the car from my phone. So depending on which level of the car you're in, you're going to have different options as far as what it allows. To check that out, just go to HondaLink.com. You can pick the car and the trim level you're considering, and it'll show you what's available to you. So just so you know how to do that. So that's a quick rundown through the touchscreen. Below that, you do have your AC controls. I can control left side, right side, and back separate of each other. If they're synced, they all work off of my side. If I unsync them, now I can control these separate, you can see. And then I could jump over to the back and change the back's temperature and airspeed and all that too. So that's just how that works. So I'm going to sync them back. Now they're all working off me. All right? All right. You have heated seats in this car, and you have 3 different settings. So if the LEDs are on, it's letting you know which setting you're using. You already saw that there's a power outlet and a USB down here, 2.5 amp for charging, so that'll charge a little faster than your standard like 1.5. I already went through the buttons right here. You do have cup holders here. I do have cup holders over there in the doors. Above us, we do have memory settings for like garage clicker, gate clicker, things like that up here that I can do. So Honda Link is what it's called. And then it is an auto dimming mirror. Above that, I do have my moonroof control, so I can press it back. It'll throw my moonroof completely open, which is just a beautiful cloudy day here. It looks like it's going to rain here in Austin, Texas. If I want to crack this window, I absolutely can do that. If I press directly up on this button, it'll crack it. And then to send it back, just press forward and it closes it. Now the next button is for your door lights. So if I have that flipped down to on, anytime I open the door, it turns those lights on. So that's what the function of that is. And then as far as using Honda Link and then having the Honda Link Assistant as far as in emergencies, that's what those 2 buttons are there. And there's some different things you can do with this that you can look up. I believe they're on Honda Link also, as for HondaLink.com, as far as seeing what you have available to you, how long it is, and then does it turn into a subscription and things like that. So that's what these functions are here. You do have a mirror up here if you need to keep an eye on the kiddos in the back, and then you do have a sunglass holder, obviously, in there too if you need to store your sunglasses. So this is indicative of the Pilot and the Odyssey, and previous, I think, even the CRV. So that's what's going on from above. Other than that, you saw that I do have some storage system right here that is coverable with like a graphite finish on it, and then I got a little deal for change. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. The rest is what I call it. I already went over the blind spot monitoring in the mirrors. You do have tweeters up here in the front, speakers in the front, the back, and then you do have a sub in the vehicle. It's a higher wattage in your Touring than it is going to be in like your EXL, so just keep that in mind. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to answer them. You can always comment on the YouTube video, and I'll try to get back and answer them the best I can. This is a new vehicle, so I'm not going to know all the answers yet. You can always call me, 512-443-4300, and ask for Justin Fuller. Or you can just send me an email, letter J, and then Fuller, Fuller, @howdyhonda.com. Thank you much.